This is Smart Pizza, and in today's hour-long episode, I'll show you the most incredible and spectacular animal fights that have been caught on camera. Rescues from the clutches of predators at the very last moment, crazy primate attacks, clashes between Africa's bitter enemies, battles of the biggest herbivores as well as huge clams. All this is waiting for you in our compilation. Let's find out which creature is the real king and menace of the animal world. Jaguar attacking the crocodile. This beautiful jaguar turns into a real water monster when it decides to attack a crocodile swimming peacefully in the river. It jumps into the river and grabs its prey. The big cat did it so good that the crocodile could do nothing to defend itself. And this jaguar decided to attack a more serious opponent. It chose an alligator as its opponent. The alligator was not so simple. Though this particular reptile was small, it managed to perform a very cool trick. As soon as the jaguar tried to attack the alligator, it reacted instantly, grabbed the big cat with its powerful jaws, and threw it into the pond like a toy. Spotted Predator fled in terror from the watering hole. As you noticed, the fight between the jaguar and the alligator took place near the water. Animals in general often sort out their relationship near bodies of water, and for aquatic predators, a water hole is the perfect place to ambush them. See for yourself. The harnessed bushback antelope has come to quench its thirst. The water seems calm, but an angry crocodile is already hiding in it. The reptile lunged, but the antelope skillfully dodged at the very last moment. Though dodged is an understatement. It literally flew out of the watering hole like a bullet. Maybe the crocodile just got unlucky. Should we give it another try? This time it was visited by a warthog. This African boar is quietly quenching his thirst when suddenly it's attacked by a reptile. Despite its big weight, the warthog jumped up and removed its limbs from under the crocodile's teeth, and then fled. It seemed that this was the same crocodile that screwed up the antelope hunt. Apparently, it should be awarded the title of Africa's most unlucky hunter.
You're an embarrassment to nature. Do you know that?
This is cake and fine!
But in general, crocodiles are very tough hunters. If they catch their prey, it'll be very difficult for the prey to escape. Let's see how this antelope does it. Tourists saw a crocodile dragging a young antelope underwater and turned on the camera. Apparently, the grip was tight. The antelope tried to break free but failed. The fight between the animals lasted about 2 minutes. The cloven-hoofed animal fought desperately for life.
It was in this moment, when all hope had faded,
Broke free from the jaws of the crocodile at the very last moment. It can go lick its wounds and celebrate the victory. But all the antelope's plans were foiled by the leopard, which quickly neutralized the weakened poor fellow. Meat grinder. Even one crocodile is already a dangerous unit, but what about a whole group of these reptiles? It's exactly what we see here. The monkeys got into a real meat grinder, getting into the pond with the toothy monsters. And we can see that some of the monkeys jump into the pond on purpose to meet their death. But they don't care. It's as if apes are teasing the reptiles, and every time, leopard and antelope. There's an impala grazing under a tree. At first glance, there's nothing unusual. But there's one thing. There's a leopard hiding in the tree. You can't see it yet because of the lush branches. And now we see the cats leave. The impala had practically no chance. Now it's at the mercy of the predator. The tragedy of the situation is heightened by the baboon. Here's a similar situation. What a graceful leap by the leopard. The prey is already in it, and here comes the mad attack on the impalas right off the ground. The predator got as close as possible to the harmless animals, ran, and carried out its plan. Leopards, of course, are tough predators, but they're still far from lions. At least, that's what many people think. It's believed that lions are perfect hunters. They're called the kings of the jungle for a reason. However, even such hunters have their bad days. This footage shows a lioness hunting an antelope. The cloven-hoofed creature managed to escape from the predator, but 2 more big cats met it on the way. The antelope came up with nothing better than to jump over the predators, and it succeeded. It did it very beautifully, just like in Hollywood movies. Then the antelope jumped into the water. The lionesses, which had increased in number, did not like to get into the water, so they went around. That was enough time for the antelope to escape. And here comes the male. The king of the jungle knows that it's the master of its territory, so it proudly and leisurely wades across the river. Although the lion is indeed the king of the jungle, the water's not its element. Dangerous crocodiles reign there, and they're eager to get a hold of anyone. But the lion's not that simple. As soon as the crocodile tries to attack and bite it, the big cat instantly reacts and avoids the blow. The crocodile choke, and here's the savanna, the lion's real element. Here lions hunt many animals, including zebras, one of their favorite delicacies. The queen of the jungle attacked the zebra, felled it, and began to perform a chokehold. As a rule, lions kill their prey precisely by strangulation, not by a paw strike or a deadly bite. It seems that the zebra's about to die, but at the last moment it finds strength and breaks the grip. And in a moment it's completely free and escapes from the prey. Hyenas and antelopes. Many people think of hyenas as scavengers, but in fact they're quite capable of feeding themselves. When the sun goes down, they go out to hunt. This time it's not a good time for this herd of wildebeest. While they're tweaking the grass, a clan of hyenas already surrounds them. Then the hyenas pick out the weakest animals and try not to lose sight of them. And when all the preparations are done, a clan of hyenas bursts into the herd of cloven-hoofed mammals, causing a commotion, while not forgetting to cut off escape routes. When the herd reaches the right condition of chaos, the hyenas separate the weakest, surrounding them and pounce on them. At that, no one should be distracted. So far, all the action's taking place in warm climes. And what about the winter battles? We shouldn't forget about the polar bear. After all, it's one of the most dangerous and largest predators, not only in the Arctic, but also on the planet. These bears hunt many animals, including seals. This is just such a prey.
I am not your prey. I am not your prey. I am not your prey! Ah!
The predator has long been on the lookout for a lone seal resting on the ice floe. At the climax, the bear attacks the animal, and it looks like the seal's finished, but it masterfully slides off the ice floe and dives into the cold water. The bear dives after it, and a few seconds later, it comes back up. As you can see, the seal ninja. Let's go back to the warm climates to look at ninjas. No, we won't go to Japan because there are real ninja masters among the animals of American New Jersey as well. A hawk spotted a squirrel in a tree and decided to attack it, but the squirrel was incredibly agile. It not only evaded the attack, but did it as effectively as possible. Last-minute rescues are impressive, but sometimes the prey not only eludes the predator, but also fights back. Take, for example, elephants. These seemingly peaceful giants are able to chase away the king of the jungle or even the whole pride. Elephant confrontations with lions, crocodiles, and hippos are further in this episode. African bush elephants are considered to be the main giants of Africa, and at the same time some of the calmest and even kindest animals in Africa. But is this really the case? Is it true that the elephant is a calm and non-aggressive animal? How, for example, does it behave when it meets the queen of the jungle? See for yourself. In this footage taken by tourists in Zimbabwe, we see a young lioness and its cubs resting among the bushes. The mother takes the cubs aside, and cars with tourists cautiously follow them. Soon the lioness, leaving its cubs behind, disappears into the bushes, and a few moments later, people hear the squeal of a young female elephant. It turned out that the predator had clawed at its muzzle. It would seem that the lioness is a natural-born hunter that should be able to knock down even such a giant as an elephant. But still, the forces are unequal. It's better for lions never to mess with elephants alone, because it's simply pointless. In the end, the lioness only hurt the elephant a little, but didn't cause it much harm. The lioness was never able to get its food for its cubs and took them further away. Okay, one lioness won't do anything to an elephant, but what about several lions at once? Or rather, an entire pride? A pride of lions would certainly kill an elephant, wouldn't it? Let's have a look. Fortunately, we have some footage taken a few years ago in Zambia. The cameraman managed to film 14 hungry lionesses chasing a young elephant that had broken away from the herd surrounding it and attacking it. The forces are not equal. The lionesses literally jeer at it and even leap onto it. But as long as it stands on its feet, it's in no danger. These animals have very tough skin, which is up to 4 centimeters thick. Although it's sensitive to various damages, big cats are unable to penetrate such armor with their claws and teeth alone. Still, the numerical advantage has its effect on the giant. The elephant is gradually losing strength, so it makes a great decision. It ran into the water directly with one of the lionesses on its back and threw it off. When the lionesses started chasing it in the water, it turned around and chased after them itself. Victory for the elephant. It realized that it would be much easier to win in the water because lions don't really like water. Crocodile. What about another of Africa's dangerous predators, the crocodile? Maybe it could at least teach the elephants a lesson. In fact, it did, at least partly. In the footage taken in southern Malawi in 2017, we see the drama at a waterhole where a herd of elephants came to drink. A dangerous reptile was lurking in the water. Waiting for a moment, the crocodile grabbed the elephant by the trunk. The situation was dangerous. The adults trumpeted and started to retreat, but the incident did not turn into a tragedy. One of the elephants helped the baby elephant free its trunk and chase the predator away. But that's not always the case, and I don't even mean that crocodiles sometimes prevail over elephants. Sometimes the reptiles don't even have time to attack because the elephants eliminate them ahead of time. In this footage, taken in Zambia, tourists witnessed an epic scene. A female elephant brought a baby elephant to a watering hole and decided to pre-clear the area. Crocodile was at a distance from the couple. There was no risk to the baby, but the mother decided not to wait for potentially dangerous actions from the reptile. It approached the crocodile itself and began pushing it away. It had no tusks, which didn't stop it from using its strong jaws and trunk. Its aggression grew before Crocodile's eyes, and then the elephant began to violently trample the enemy. The elephant picked up its prey and threw it back, crushing the crocodile with its powerful legs. An adult female elephant can weigh between 2.7 and 3.6 tons, so the crocodile had no chance to survive. I feel sorry for it because it didn't do anything. In general, the watering hole is a sacred place for elephants. They, more than anyone else, do not tolerate strangers during bathing and thirst quenching. Here's another proof of that. Two rhinos, a mother and a baby, came to the waterhole. Soon, two elephants gathered to quench their thirst, and one of them decided not to share territory with other animals. The female rhino spotted the danger in time and got between the elephant and its baby. You can see that it wanted to fight the elephant to the bitter end, but that decision turned out to be rash. The sturdy elephant forcefully pushed it away. The baby got in the way and rolled over with a squeal.
This is National Geographic.
Oh my God, baby.
Rising to its feet, the young rhino ran away, and its mother for some time still tried to defend itself. However, it pretty quickly realized that it shouldn't mess with the elephant, so it also left the scene of the battle. The elephant chased the couple for some time, but soon gave up the chase. In fact, elephants don't really like rhinos in general. Even when it's not in a watering hole, there can be conflict. In this footage, we see a confrontation between an elephant and a rhino. For the first seconds of the conflict, the elephant began to show that it was its territory. The giant was pushing the rhino as if squeezing it out of its territory. This didn't help much. The stubborn rhino preferred to demonstrate its power, but it did not succeed. The elephant picked up a large log from the ground and threw it with force. This maneuver made the rhino to change its mind. Hippos. Elephants are not very fond of hippos either. On occasion, they're always ready to teach them a lesson. For example, in this footage, taken by tourists in South Africa, we see a conflict between an elephant and hippos. According to the cameraman, the elephant stood alone for a long time, but then a trio of hippos showed up. The animals looked at each other at first. Then the elephant moved forward and broke the tree. The frightened hippos jumped into the water and quickly swam away. According to the cameraman, the hippos were young and just learning to interact with the elephants, and the elephant just wanted to cross the river, but it looked like a little conflict. And this footage was already filmed in Zimbabwe. The hippo was on its way to a pond that was surrounded by elephants. Its actions did not please one of the males. First, the elephant turned around, pointed its trunk toward the hippo, and sprayed it, simultaneously trumpeting loudly. Without waiting for a reaction, it got angry, let out a loud, low scream, and slapped the hippo on the back with its trunk to drive it away from the water. Only then did the hippo speed up.
Pull it in, Winifred.
And here, the elephant itself had already visited the hippo's territory. The giant decided to wade through a body of water where several dozen giants were resting at once. Most of the hippos knew that it was better not to mess with the elephant, so they let it pass. But one of them was in a bad mood. The hippo tried to bite the elephant's tail and chased it almost all the way to the shore. Fortunately for it, the elephant was in a good mood that day. Tiger. Few predators can adequately assess the situation because they're driven by their instincts. As it turned out, tigers are among the most intelligent predators, as the following footage proves. This time the footage was taken in India. We see a tiger lying in the way of an elephant. The predator doesn't see it yet, so it's calm. But when the elephant gets closer, the tiger turns to it and instantly jumps up, then runs off into the bushes. The tiger behaved correctly. It didn't want to get into a senseless conflict and gave way to the giant. It knew for sure. Animals shouldn't mess with such big guys like elephants. Elephants are not the only herbivores capable of putting predators to flight. Rhinos, hippos, buffaloes, or giraffes are not easy prey either. Speaking of the latter, did you know that giraffes use their long necks to spar with their congeners? They even use the services of referees. Let's see what else these animals are capable of. Giraffe versus giraffe. In the Zambezi National Park near Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe, biologist Angela Ferguson managed to capture two giraffes preparing for a fight, but it didn't end because something went wrong. In the video, the giraffes circle around each other until one of them starts headbutting its opponent, trying to knock it down. As a result, it slightly overdoes it and picks up its opponent's hind leg with its head, straightening up and scooting it high into the air. Its opponent, meanwhile, walked nonchalantly in a small circle on three limbs. The biologist who filmed the giraffes said that they were not going to have a full-scale fight. One of them is much younger than the other and behaves rather modestly, clearly trying to avoid confrontation. Although the clash never turned into a full-fledged fight, the giraffes actually fight their rivals in a very dangerous way, using their most impressive body part. Giraffes fight to win the sympathy of females or simply to prove their dominance in a territory. During such a fight, they can use small but hard horns and sharp hooves, which, with proper accuracy, can be extremely dangerous. The main purpose of such a fight is to knock an opponent down. Another similar case was caught on camera in South Africa. Two giraffes put up a fierce fight in front of visitors to a local wildlife refuge. According to Wayne Howarth, who led the tour, giraffes fought over a female standing nearby. The fight was short but equal until one of the males went for a trick. Fair fight. A team of biologists from the University of Manchester studied northern giraffes in the Magalakwena River Lodge in South Africa between November 2016 and May 2017. The new study found that giraffes choose opponents roughly the same size as them, which has been interpreted as a noble example of fair play. However, it may be more prosaic than that. Seeing their opponents' clear superiority, giraffes don't engage them. The researchers found that sparring, allowing the rivals to assess the balance of power, was most often observed in young males, as well as between males that were more or less comparable in size. At the same time, fights between males of similar sizes were characterized by high intensity and short duration. In other words, they were fairly vicious but short skirmishes. These results support the assumption that sparring mainly serves to test the competitiveness of adult males without escalating into full-fledged fights, the authors of the study noted. The team also noticed a bar brawl effect, with one fight provoking fights by other giraffes nearby. Surprisingly, the fights had referees, other males that sometimes interrupted clashes between younger ones. The researchers also found that sparring showed a seasonal peak that coincided with the beginning of the rainy season. This understanding of giraffe behavior allows zoos and gamekeepers and sanctuaries to take better care of the animals. By the way, not so long ago, it was discovered that giraffes are not one species, but four. This was shown by the study of the genome. Outwardly, it's not so easy to distinguish giraffes of different species, but these species separated on the genetic branch long ago, from 230 to 370,000 years ago. In the wild, they don't mix, but in zoos, also in 2017, a villager in Garissa County, Kenya, saw two white giraffes. The species was identified as the endangered reticulated giraffe. The two animals represented a family, a mother and its baby. With the help of the camera, it was possible not only to capture the beauty of white giraffes, but also to get the first image of two animals with leukemia. It's a genetic disorder that prevents the normal formation of pigment within epithelial cells. It differs from albinism and that dark pigment can still be produced inside the tissues. Lions versus giraffes. Giraffes have almost no natural enemies. However, the lion is one of the few that dares to attack these giants. In the world of wildlife, predators do not necessarily choose a prey of their own size or smaller. The prey may exceed their size. But then hunting techniques, tactics, and strategy come into play. Visitors to Kruger National Park in South Africa were lucky enough to see such a spectacular fight between a lion pride and a single giraffe. According to the guide Francois Pinard, in the early morning he accompanied a group of tourists on a sightseeing tour of the park and saw 5 lionesses chasing a giraffe. The chase lasted about 20 minutes, after which 2 of the lionesses grabbed hold of the giraffe's hind legs and the third one jumped on its back. This is a common attack tactic for lions. The third lioness in such cases should chew up the neck of the victim. However, when this neck is almost 6.5 feet long, it's not easy to reach. The giraffe nonchalantly continued on its way with its new cargo and 2 more chasing lions. After 5 hours, the patience of the predators ran out and they retreated. By the way, it was a risky venture for the big cats themselves because a giraffe can break a lion's backbone with one blow of a hoof. Again, this is Kruger National Park in South Africa, where a group of at least 8 lionesses surrounded a giraffe. Hungry predators surrounding their victim, one by one ran up trying to bite, but despite the numerical superiority, lionesses couldn't knock the tall beast down. The giraffe, in turn, fought off the huntresses with its legs. Anyone that approached it was immediately kicked with a hoof. Most likely, the lionesses wanted to wear it down. It would be tired by nightfall, and by that time the males from the pride would be ready to help. In the dark, the cat's eyesight is particularly keen, and the giraffe would have had no chance. However, as in the previous case, everything ended much earlier and the lionesses. The giraffe is the tallest land animal on the planet. Already at birth, the baby is 5.9 feet tall and weighs about 110 pounds. The female giraffe gives birth standing up, and the newborn falls to the ground from a height of 6.5 feet. This doesn't affect its health in any way. On the contrary, the fall triggers the process of breathing. In an hour, the baby can stand firmly on its feet, and in a few hours, it can run. It was at this point that a family of giraffes was caught on camera by a group of tourists exploring Masai Mara National Reserve. The baby giraffe, barely mastering its first steps, immediately ran to explore the territory, not realizing that hyenas and a lioness were watching it closely. However, the hyenas quickly lost interest in the prey, not wanting to confront the queen of the jungle, and the lioness continued to wait for its chance and chased the baby for 3.5 miles. The mother accompanied the baby giraffe, pushing it with its legs away from the lioness, but it played a low-down trick. At some point, the baby fell into a ravine. This gave the predator an advantage. It pounced on the helpless baby and dragged it into the water. People watched the events with bated breath, not having the right to interfere in the natural course of events. Everyone was sure that the calf was dead, but the female giraffe finally managed to descend into the ravine. Giraffe versus crocodile. We're back in Kruger National Park. Tourists witnessed a heartbreaking scene. A giraffe escaped the jaws of a crocodile, but became easy prey for the lion's pride. Tour guide Mario Paul, who noticed the giraffe's strange behavior, filmed the scene. Originally, the guide and his group were looking for leopards, but were the first to see the giraffe near the river. At first, they thought the animal might have stumbled, but they soon spotted a 16-foot crocodile clinging to the giraffe's leg. They looked more closely and realized the animal was in a tricky situation. The giraffe tried to stand up, but it kept falling. In the end, the crocodile let the animal go, but the giraffe couldn't move because of the leg injury. Do you think a crocodile could drag an adult giraffe underwater? Share your opinion in the comments, and also get ready to dive in, because the next protagonist of this episode is the octopus. These cephalopods are known for their incredible intelligence and ability to get out of the most confusing situations. But will it help them in the fight against birds, sharks, moray eels, and other sea creatures? Let's find out. Octopus versus bird. A tourist shot a frightening video of an octopus hunting a seagull. The footage shows how the hungry mollusk rose to the surface of the sea, where the bird was swimming, jumped up, wrapped its tentacles around the victim and pulled it to the bottom. The battle between them lasted almost 5 minutes and was accompanied by unsuccessful octopus and crab. The video was filmed by American divers in the coastal waters off Monterey, California. A pair of scuba divers witnessed an unusual martial art competition. In a fight against even a small octopus, a crab has no chance. The only thing he can do is to evade the predatory tentacles. In fact, the crab did it with enviable dexterity. The fight had already lasted long enough when a seal came to the aid of the crab and ate the octopus, to the laughter of the cameraman. The author of the video later said that he's often accompanied by the seal on underwater trips, which he and his partner nicknamed Whiskers. He learned to use the light of divers' flashlights to hunt fish. This time he, too, swam with them and then disappeared somewhere. Later, the divers spotted a battle on the bottom and were filming until Whiskers returned and intervened in the battle. Octopus versus moray eel. Diver Chris Crease witnessed a fierce fight between a moray eel and an octopus near Australia's Bear Island, New South Wales. One day, Chris was diving to a rocky reef with his son and wife as if nothing had happened and saw many octopuses on the ocean floor. One of the larger clams spotted the humans and tried to hide behind a rock, but a moray eel, a deadly predator, was waiting for it around the corner. It opened its jaws and lunged at the octopus in an attempt to bite it. The recording, which Crease made, shows how the mollusk tried to defend itself by emitting ink into the predatory fish. However, the tactic didn't work. The moray eel grabbed the cephalopod with its teeth. Unlike some insects or lizards, octopuses cannot drop their own body parts at will in case of danger. However, they're not afraid of losing a limb as a result of injury. This is what happened in front of the diver. The octopus allowed the moray eel to bite one of the tentacles, which will later grow back. Then the cephalopod swiftly swam away, octopus and pufferfish. In the Seychelles, off the coast of Frigate Island, divers Chris Taylor and Carrie Miller were viewing a coral reef. They were able to videotape a fight between an octopus and a pufferfish. The octopus tried to drag the pufferfish into a gap between the coral, but was unsuccessful. It behaved aggressively, not wanting to give in to the fight and even bloated, as all pufferfish do in this case. When the octopus changed tactics, it came out of hiding and wrapped its tentacles around the enemy, almost completely covering it. But even in this case, the fish managed to repel the attack. But it's worth noting that pufferfish are very poisonous. One individual can poison up to 30 people. But this doesn't scare Japanese chefs who are preparing the fugu dish from these poisonous creatures. Octopus versus octopus. Marine biologists managed to videotape a battle between two octopuses. In the course of the battle, it turned out that the mollusks throw at each other shells and other objects. The fact that the body of the octopus includes a so-called siphon, which acts as a jet engine when moving. Using a siphon, octopuses also direct a stream of water to chase away annoying fish, clean the dwelling from debris, and find food. Analyzing videotapes made during an expedition off the coast of New South Wales in Australia, experts concluded that octopuses can move objects with a stream of water from a siphon according to their purpose, for example, during a fight. The animals from this video were the so-called gloomy octopuses. As the scientists explained, they collect a bunch of shells, stones, and other objects. Octopus versus shark. In a fight with an adult shark, an octopus will definitely lose. This sea creature can be dangerous only for young sharks and small species. The prey of the octopus can become, for example, a small bottom-dwelling shark. As a rule, the mollusk paralyzes it with venom and then drags it off into its den to slowly eat it. For its defense, the mollusk may try to use saliva with a paralyzing substance, but even this doesn't always help. Most sharks deal with soft-bodied prey in no time. In theory, the most serious enemy of a shark might be the giant Pacific octopus, the largest octopus in the world. Their average weight is from 6 to 33 pounds, but individuals weighing more than 132 pounds and up to 10 feet long have been recorded. The span of their tentacles can even reach 23 feet. They're also highly intelligent. This species is found in the Pacific Ocean waters from Japan to Kamchatka and off the coast of California. The octopus will use all available means, from wrestling to tricks and cunning to fight its opponent. The octopus has no teeth, but it has a beak. It's horny, hooked, and easily.
Imagine how desperate an animal must be if it resorts to asking a human for help. Fortunately, there are still kind people in the world who give them a reason to trust. Today you're gonna see the most touching stories of animals that ask people for help. I hope it inspires you and others around the world. These people went to Mandurah for fishing, where they found a shark near the coast. They noticed that the shark got tangled up in a fishing net, so they started their mission to free him.
That's all. Then he's on his way. Get the pitch in.
Oh, pitches.
Be loose.
Dave, be careful.
Here we go. Good. Here you go.
This kind man helped a stranded stingray back into the water. Always be careful when you're helping an animal in need, to protect yourself from getting hurt in the process.
Careful, Steve.
Steve Harwood.
This guy noticed a little hedgehog drowning in the swimming pool, so he wasted no time and saved him with a fishing net. Now the little guy is saved. This poor little cat got her foot stuck in one of this little holes from a brick. Finally, she got rescued by a firefighter, who carefully broke the brick with an axe to free her. Even a parrot and a dog can be friends. This pregnant woman struggled to stand up alone, so her dog came to her rescue. You don't need to be human to help others. Cats and dogs are not always enemies. Sometimes they are friends for life. This guy's from India heard some quiet noises in this little wall, so they decided to open it up. It turned out that this was the best decision. Look what they found. This kind man rescued a turtle which got stuck in a little hole. This swan really got perfect timing, and so he rescued this little bird from being a snack for the cats. The next story is from Lake Arrowhead. Over a week they got 109 inches of snow, so this house was buried under this enormous amount of snow. This kind man removed the snow from the front door and built a staircase. Now the homeowner can leave her house again. No fence can stop this young star to play with the neighbor's dog. A little duckling followed this dog around, so he decided to take a bath with his new friend. Here we have another hedgehog trying out the pool. Luckily, he got rescued. Every day on his way to work, this amazing guy stops on the road to feed some stray puppies. Look how adorable they are. The world needs more people like this. This man rescued a deer from drowning in a sewage canal and pulled it out so the animal can escape.
What's he doing?
This guy's found a really smart way to get the work done. And the dog seems to enjoy his new job too. Seems like cats also enjoy to be massaged. This cute little dog likes practicing to jump rope with that little girl. I'm pretty sure that you have never seen a dog playing volleyball before. If I'm wrong, write it in the comments. Two surfers found a stranded dolphin on the beach. The dolphin got into this situation during a storm. But thankfully, because of this guys, he is now back in the ocean. This man saved a pigeon from the storm. It's the first time that I see a cat getting pet by an ape. This dog helps his owner to train his little puppy.
Sit.
This man rescued a snake which got stuck in a ventilation grill. After he managed to get the ventilation grill out, he cut it open and finally set the snake free. Now be honest, did this video inspire you to change the world for the better? Personally, I won't ever be able to just walk past an animal in need. Be sure to share your animal rescue experience in the comments or send this to a friend. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video. Imagine how desperate an animal must be if it resorts to asking a human for help. Fortunately, there are still kind people in the world who give them a reason to trust. Today you're gonna see the most touching stories of animals that ask people for help. I hope it inspires you and others around the world. And while hunting birds, a cat got into a tricky situation, 35 meters above the ground, and didn't realize it until it was too late. All the animal could do was hope that the human had a steady hand. The tiny body of a toad seemed lifeless, but this girl believed that even such a small life could be saved. A tiger cub got itself into some trouble from which there seemed to be no way out, but it continued to fight for survival, not realizing that its guardian angel had already come to the rescue. Hung by a thread as it was stuck among the branches at a height of 4 meters in the air, its wing was broken and it wasn't even trying to free itself. Fortunately, there happened to be kind people nearby who knew how to help. This girl's determination to save a tiny bat despite the prickly cactus is admirable. This lit guy only survived because this man stepped in. He took care of the bird and did everything he could to help it fly again. A bear spent several days trying to find a way out of this garbage pit, and it had nearly accepted that it would never escape, until a man with a log gave it hope, and this bear ended up in the same mess. People first tried to rescue it with a rope, but that's not nearly enough for the creature's weight. The bear was able to find just enough strength to use a kangaroo found itself in dire straits when it became trapped while trying to cross a shark-infested channel. Fortunately, it was spotted by kayakers when it had no more strength left. Now the humans will return it to the right shore. This poor chick fell out of the nest and was left without a mother, but fate couldn't let this little life end, and gave the bird a caring human mother. Arctic foxes are very cautious and perfectly designed to blend in with the snow, but a hunger forced this little one to reveal itself. Meanwhile, this young snake couldn't find a drop in the desert for 5 days, but it found kind people instead. This wolf suffered a heart attack, but the owner was devastated and knew that time was running out for the animal, but she fought to the end and brought the creature back to life. This little jerboa will remember the person with the glass of water for the rest of his life. This little guy got so hungry that it stopped an entire ship. His call for help was heard by the crew and they shared with it the food they had left. This little sugar glider was prepared to fight till its last breath. Once it realized its efforts were unsuccessful, it allowed the human to take care of it. Look at how carefully this elderly man carries water to that dog. These miners decided to share their lunch with a bear. Then they realized that she needed the food much more than they did. I hope they called animal rescuers as they were supposed to do. A raccoon looking for food climbed into a garbage truck, never suspecting that it would fall right into a trap. But thanks to an attentive and responsive driver, his life carries on. This person invented a special device that allows them to successfully feed orphaned chicks. Sometimes even the most skilled predators need a human's help and a little food after hunting on the reservation for several days with no success. When this baby deer fell into a pool, its mother abandoned it, but a guardian angel sent this woman to help. What are the odds that she would be a doctor? Now a new life awaits this deer. Some blind newborn puppies were scattered along a street. Can you hear their pitiful cries for help went unnoticed by many, but not this man who subsequently gave them a loving family. This poor animal was far from the watering hole, that it wouldn't have been able to get to it in time, but thanks to this brave man her thirst was Some eggs that had accidentally fallen out of a bird's nest, but were saved thanks to a quick reaction from this person. A dove that temporarily landed. A mother's heat despite the harrowing. 2 chicks made their appearance in the incubator, and were raised with care, and here's what they've become. When this young bear was left alone, it had to learn to take care for itself, but when hunting didn't work out, it turned to this humans for help, and it worked. These men were spending the night in the desert, and weren't expecting company at all, but then a hungry little fennec fox showed up, and now he's a guest at their table. Some kind souls saved a crow's life by giving it a new acrylic beak. After it lost its own lineup, normally black ink doesn't stay on for very long. When a snake found itself caught in an insect trap, the owners called a professional serpentologist to their house to save it. With a little special oil and some tools, the worker was able to safely free the animal. Please don't try this at home. An unfortunate baby giraffe was born with a rare limb abnormality, and its chances of survival were really slim. Until some orthopedist stepped in and made the world's first leg braces for giraffes. How wonderful that there are so many caring people in the world. This wolf had been starving for so long that it finally had to ask a human for help. And this kind man had to act quickly, so he didn't hesitate to give away all the food he had. A duck fought bravely in a fight with an eagle and even managed to escape, but not without suffering an injured foot. But then she was found. She was exhausted and refused to give up. Her life will never be the same again, but now she has people who will take care of her and provide her with a comfortable life. This sloth may have sealed its own fate when it decided to hang on a power line. 6 meters above the ground, the poor animal was scared and was preventing its own rescue. But the worker was patient and determined to get the sloth down safely. Nothing was more important to this vet than making sure this stray dog felt safe enough to eat again. After long-term starving in the streets, the man's small but meaningful gesture showed the dog that nothing bad would happen if it took some food. Due to the melting ice in the Arctic, it's becoming increasingly difficult for this polar bear to hunt. As a result, her fat reserves are depleted, and there's an increasing risk that she won't make it without human intervention. Now be honest, did this video inspire you to change the world for the better? Personally, I won't ever be able to just walk past an animal in need. Be sure to share your animal rescue experience in the comments or send this to a friend. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See. Imagine how desperate an animal must be if it resorts to asking a human for help. Fortunately, there are still kind people in the world who give them a reason to trust. Today you're gonna see the most touching stories of animals that ask people for help. I hope it inspires you and others around the world to show animals that we are not their enemies. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to see more of these amazing videos. A strong hunger caused this bear cub to climb a tree and get its head stuck in the process. Only with the help of a professional rescuer, the bear was able to get back on the ground again. This armadillo may have reached the shore a couple of days after swimming, assuming it had enough strength, but it didn't turn down the opportunity to ride with the wind. This hungry fox's first time ever seeing noodles, so the man had to show it that they were safe to eat and delicious. A tiny mouse was trembling in fear because it couldn't run away from this scary man with wire cutters, but this man did everything he could to free her from a trap. survival can be long and grueling, and for this errand it was no different when a bystander stepped in and rescued the animal. Now the bird will be just fine. A bat wore itself out while trying to stay afloat in a pond in the middle of an indoor golf course, but when this guy suddenly shows up, the bat immediately grabs onto its lucky ticket. This koala found itself in a desperate situation, while trying to escape the jaws of a dingo. Now it's clinging to life, as it holds onto a rock. And now help has finally arrived. A poor starling had already resigned itself to its fate, but a random passerby decided to fight for it, a little more for the bird to believe that it's been given a second chance. Just look at how this elephant covers her baby with her own body. In a last desperate attempt to save him, her heart stopped beating, and while rescuers struggled to revive her, baby could do nothing but hope that her mother would wake up. Intense moment. It doesn't hurt to catch your breath a little bit and drink some water. Here's what can happen if you have the only source of heat in the entire field. That little mouse took the chance of its life by exposing itself to a giant, and it was worth it. In 40 degrees Celsius heat, this man wasn't just giving a squirrel a drink, he was saving its life, and the squirrel was very grateful. An unfortunate opossum was found in a very bad condition. It was wounded, dehydrated, and already surrounded by flies. There seemed to be no hope that the creature would survive, but the love and care of people produced a miracle. When a dog fell into a deep, narrow hole, it was nearly impossible to reach, but this man still found a way. Just look at how badly it wants to live. This black vulture was also fairly tired after flying hundreds of miles, so the guy in a paraglider was happy to help him catch its breath. The kitten, whose tiny paws were too fragile for it to survive on its own, somehow got caught on a wire. Luckily, a whole team of strangers came to rescue, and the kitten was emerged from its journey, unharmed with all 9 of its lives. Unclear how much longer this fox would have suffered. If not for a selfless rescuer, the man immediately rushed over to help, even if he had other plans. But what could be more important than saving a life? It may come as a surprise, but even aquatic animals need access to clean water. And right now this person is saving a manatee. This rabbit was frightened by the noise of a lawnmower and jumped into the water in a panic, which turned out to be a terrible decision. The only way to save it was to resuscitate it until it started breathing again. I don't know if this owl was trying to deliver a letter to someone, but after 3 long days trapped inside, these people rescued her. A fox obviously would have died of starvation in the middle of a deserted construction site. Before long, a passerby used all his resourcefulness to help the animal, but it just couldn't wait to be rescued and started working with the man. When a mother bird lost her chick, all she could do was beg humans for help. Fortunately, her cries were heard by this woman, who had everything she needed for the rescue mission. these people are trying to rescue from a manhole. Without their help, the tiny ducklings would have been trapped forever with no food, but now they're going back to their mother. An owl made a mistake when it flew into a soccer goal, but a true superhero has come to her rescue. Look at how he keeps her calm while entangling the net. It seems that the bird was expecting anything but a kind heart from such a big man. This man feeds 5,000 birds a day directly from his terrace, along with his wife. That's why he is called the Birdman of India. He cooks 75 kilograms of boiled rice a day. They've been doing it for over 19 years, and I hope they never stop. This bear cub's home and family were destroyed by a forest fire, but fate sent this man to help, and not only did he save the little guy, but he also became his new family. This dog can't stand being in its apartment even for a minute, but walking out onto the ledge wasn't its decision. Unfortunately, the pup has lovely neighbors. If this bear were a human, it would undoubtedly be a skilled psychologist. Just look at how well it understands people, and look at the confidence it has when it comes back for more. But these guys are professionals. Never know this yourself. For years, Beach Donkey, the African penguin, had to endure the pain and isolation because he was unable to walk or stand on his own, but thanks to specially designed sandals, he can now walk around with a huge aquarium. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. See you in the next video. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Let me show you amazing stories of people who made the world a little better. Tell me your opinions in the comments. Let's begin. This amazing people feeding stray dogs. Look how thankful they are. What would you do in a situation like this? Tell us in the comments. A dog named Alex was found alive and rescued after 23 days under rubble after the earthquake in Turkey. This gold mining worker fell into a snow trap. Thankfully, other people were around and came to rescue him. This people in Mumbai stopped a train to save a dog stuck on the rails. It seems like Mumbai is not always too busy. This firefighter performs a CPR to rescue this little cat which they found stuck in a water pipe. In Mumbai, some people rescued a cat from a bridge. These two guys found an elk stuck in the mud. They tried to help even when the animal tried to attack them. After 45 minutes of hard work, they managed to free the elk.
Come on, bud. He's good. He's going. He's going. He's going. He's going. Run. Here you go, buddy.
This race car driver has the most amazing fans. 2 firefighters rescued an elk that had fallen through a frozen lake.
Yes.
This deer fell into a hole, but this amazing guy pulled it out with one hand.
Нихера вы красавцы!
This man became friends with a hummingbird. So he named him Hector and feeds him every day. A worker climbed up a 53-meter high-powered transmission tower to rescue an oriental stork. This man saved a dog from a sinking car. This guy's found a turtle entangled in plastic, so they helped to free the animal.
Don't have one on board, unfortunately. Hold on, I can spin this around. Yeah, it looks like it's just twisted up that. Yeah, twist that bit. Okay. You can hold his arm off. Yep. I'll twist. Alright, mate. Self in your big dog. I think he gets that, man. Yeah, I think he understands. Yeah. He's free. Alrighty. Here we go. See ya, big fella.
Would you be able to rescue a cat like this? This guy deserves respect. Have you ever seen a spider drinking water? This Filipino villagers relocate the house of an elderly man, so he can live closer to his family. This woman saved a skunk from a trash helmet. That was the last video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.